Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the oxytocics in obstetrics. Oxytocics are the drugs of varying chemical nature that have the power to excite contractions of the uterine muscles. The most common oxytocics what we are using in obstetrics are oxytocin, arbitocin group of drugs, ergot derivatives like methargine, argometrin, and prostaglandins like prostaglandin E2 and F2 alpha. Oxytocin is the most common and most favorite drug which we are using in obstetrics in day-to-day practice. It is derived from the Greek word oxytocin, that means quick birth. Oxytocin is also called as love hormone or bonding hormone. The synonymous to synthetic oxytocins are pitocin, syntocinon, which are commonly used in our day-to-day practice. The discovery of oxytocin, it was first discovered by Italian scientist Nicolas Fere in the 1835. Its uterine contracting property was discovered by British pharmacist Sir Henry Halligdale. Oxytocin milk ejection property was discovered by Oates and Scott in 1910 and by Schaefer and Mazzini in 1911. He was a Jeffrey who discovered the use of diluted solution of oxytocin for induction of labor in a physiological trip, and it is a Turnbull and Anderson further invented the oxytocin titration until uterus contracts effectively. Oxytocins, these are peptide hormones which are secreted from supraoptic and paraventricular nucleus from the hypothalamus and stored in posterior gland. Oxytocin is a primary mediator of myometrial contractility during labor. During the second half of pregnancy, uterine smooth muscle shows increase in expression of oxytocin receptors and its sensitivity. Oxytocin also stimulates prostaglandin synthesis. So the most beauty of this drug is that oxytocin maintains the physiology of normal uterine contractions and law of polarity. So it helps to contract the upper segment and retract the lower uterine segment. Oxytocin also maintains the Ferguson reflex. So whenever there is uterine contraction, baby presses the cervix in downward direction, there will be a release of prostaglandin, oxytocin from the posterior pituitary gland, which further initiates the uterine contractions, and further uterine contractions helps to push the baby in downward direction. So the oxytocin mainly acts on the receptors which are present on the myometrium. It activates the pathways for hydrolysis of phosphatidylinosytral and diacylglycerol that releases the intracellular calcium and releases the contraction of uterus. Oxytocin also releases prostaglandin and leukotrienes, which helps to stimulate the uterine contraction further. Oxytocin also play a very important role in the mechanism of milk ejection. Without oxytocin-induced contractions, normal lactation cannot occur. So when the posterior pituitary gland secretes oxytocin, it causes contraction of myepithelial cells, leads to milk ejection. Further suckling from the baby sends the signals to the hypothalamus, which further releases the oxytocin. Oxytocin secreted mainly kidney. At high concentration, oxytocin has weak antidiuretic and pressure activity due to activation of vasopressin receptors. In our day-to-day practice, what we are using oxytocin, they are synthetic forms. They are available in injection forms, either in an ampule or vials or in a tablet forms, which are given by buccal route. Oxytocins are also available in a nasal spray. Routinely, we are not using buccal or nasal sprays in a day-to-day practice. The route of administration of oxytocins, mostly they are giving intravenously, especially for augmentation or induction of labor. They are used by intramuscular route, especially for postpartum hemorrhage management. Buccal and nasal spray have very limited uses. Oxytocin is not bound to plasma proteins and is eliminated by the kidney and liver. Its duration of action is 20 minutes and is stored at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. The uses of oxytocin in obstetrics, it is used for induction and augmentation of labor. It is used to accelerate the process of abortion and stop bleeding after the evacuation of uterus in vesicular mole. It is used for active management of third stage of labor. 10 international unit intramuscularly can be given after delivery of the baby. It is used to prevent PPH and management of PPH, where we can use high doses of oxytocin, either 20 units in brief or 10 units intramuscularly. It used to prevent breast abscess secondary to breast engorgement. For diagnostic purpose, oxytocin can be used in contraction stress test and oxytocin challenge test. The most universal regimes which are advised by ACOG is low dose regime and high dose regime. Low dose regimes are used for multiparous women where the starting dose should be 1 to 2 milli international unit per minute. We can increment the dose every 30 minutes interval by 1 to 2 milli international unit per minute, and we can give maximum dose 32 milli international unit per minute. Usually we get good contractions by 8 to 12 milli international unit per minute. In high dose regimes, we start with 4 to 6 milli international unit per minute and increase the dose every 15 to 30 minutes interval. Maximum contractions we can get at 8 to 12 milli international unit per minute. So we use it for priming gravida. Those postgraduate students who are working at government medical colleges where infusion pumps are not available, There they have to prepare drips, and by adding the different amount of internal, that is pitocin, in the IV drips, and they have to title the drip rate. In priming gravida, we usually recommend to add 10 unit of internal oxytocin in 500 ml of RL or NS and start the drip rate with a rate of 30 drops per minute. Increase the drip rate by 10 drops per minute every 30 minutes interval till adequate contractions gets started. That is 3 to 4 contraction in 10 minutes. Maximum dose we can use 60 drops per minute. In a multiparous woman, we add 2.5 unit of pitocin in 500 ml of RL or NS. We start with a rate of 10 drops per minute, increase the drip rate by 10 drops per minute every 30 minutes interval till adequate contraction gets started. In postgraduate exams, most common questions they are asked to us is what is physiological dose, pharmacological dose, and escalating dose. It is nothing but the doses which are used for induction of labor. Low dose regimes are called as physiological dose. The high doses what we are using for management of PPH or in a cases of vesicular mole, they are considered as a pharmacological dose. Escalating dose are very rarely used. The other actions of oxytocin are oxytocin has emotional impact. Wherever there is a receiving hug from the partner or first touch from the male partner, there will be increased release of oxytocin. Oxytocin also initiates the trust and boost, that is the bonding between the mother and the baby. Oxytocin play a very, very important role at the time of lactation. It also increases the sexual arousal. Those patients where there is oxytocin deficiency, it will causes generalized depression, anxiety, sleep disturbances, isolation and panic attacks. It will also causes autism, uterine inertia and schizophrenia. Contraindications of oxytocin, it should not be used in grand multiparous women, previous cesarean section scar uterus, CPD, malpresentations, patient of having hypertonic contractions, anaphylactic reactions in the past, or those patients where vaginal delivery is contraindicated. Wherever there is a fetal distress or placenta previa, it should not be used. Although there are very less side effects, but oxytocin had few side effects like hypotension and tachycardia, especially in those cases where we give high doses of oxytocin. It also causes nausea, vomiting, confusion, sometimes severe headache, rupture of uterus. Even fetal distress or fetal hypoxia can be occur if there is a hypertonic contractions. If we give large doses of pitocin, it can cause water intoxication and hyperbilirubinemia in a neonates. Whenever we start oxytocin drip, it has to be monitored. We have to monitor input-output record. We have to monitor uterine contractions and fetal heart rates, blood pressure, and pulse of the patient. We have to monitor the IV infusion rates very cautiously. And we have to follow the progress of labor on photogram. Again, one next beauty of this drug is it has an antidote. So atosiban can be given, which is an oxytocin receptor antagonist, non-peptide oxytocin analogous whenever there is a tachycystole with oxytocin drip. Next drug which we are going to discuss is the methargine, ergot derivative. So ergot alkaloids were first adrenergic receptor antagonist to be discovered. Ergot is a product of fungus and that grows on a rye and other grains. The contamination of edible grains by an poisonous parasitic fungus spread the death for centuries. It can causes bottle effect on the pregnancy. The active principle of ergot was isolated and chemically identified in early 20th century. Use as a labor stimulant was first described by Adam Lusser in 1580. Ergot derivatives are available in different forms in the market, but most commonly what we are using is ergotamine and ergotamine. So the ergotamine, which is available in the injectable form and tablet forms, are ergometrin injections, 0.25 milligram or 0.5 milligram ampoules are available. Methargine injection, that is ergotamine, methyl ergometrin, which is available in the ampule, 0.2 milligram intramuscularly or intravenously, it can be given, or it is available in the tablet form, 0.5 or 1 milligram. Symptometrin is an injection which contains the combination of ergometrin and symptometrin. Maximum ergometrins are not absorbed through the oral route. So injectable routes are most preferred. Although the ergonomine and methyl ergometrins are rapidly absorbed through the oral route and it reaches the peak concentration within 90 minutes, oral tablets are still used in certain cases where there is a bleeding after the delivery. Majority of the ergot derivatives, they are excreted through the bile. Ergometrin can be given intravenously, intramuscularly, or orally. When we give methargine injections intravenously, it starts its action within 95 seconds. Intramuscularly, it starts its action within 7 minutes, and orally, it starts within 10 minutes. The half-life of ergometrin injection or methargine injection is 0.5 to 2 hours, and duration of action remains for 3 hours. Mechanism of action of methargine. Methargine or methyl ergonomine maleate act directly on the smooth muscle of uterus, and it increases the tone, rate, and amplitude rhythmic contractions of the uterus. So it's not able to maintain the polarity of the uterine contraction, so it should not be used for induction of labor. It induces the rapid and sustained uterine contraction, so it is used as a best uterotonic in third stage management, which reduces the blood loss. At a higher concentration, this drug induces powerful and prolonged contraction, causes state of spasm. So the uterine smooth muscle fibers, when contracts, it compresses the blood vessel, and by that way, it reduces the blood loss during third stage of labor. So methazine is used for prevention of PPH, management of PPH, and prophylactic use in active stage management of third stage of labor. So when we use for treatment of PPH, the dose of methazine is 0.2 milligram, either intramuscularly or intravenously can be given. At a 15 minutes interval, we can give maximum 3 doses of methazine, that is 0.5 milligram. Prophylactic intramuscular or intravenous injection of ergometrin reduces the bleeding and prevent the postpartum hemorrhage by 500 ml blood loss. Ergot alkaloids may also decreases the use of therapeutic uterotonics, but adverse effects may be include elevated blood pressure and pain after birth requiring analgesia. Side effects are more dangerous as compared to oxytocin. It causes diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. It precipitates MI, strokes, bronchospasm. More dangerous side effect of this drug, it causes prolonged vasospasm, leads to gangrene of the toes and required amputation. There are certain cases reported having bowel infarction and it interferes the lactation. So it should not be used in a suspected multiple gestation, in patient of having hypertensive disorder in pregnancy, patient of having Rh negative blood group and heart diseases. Next drug what we are going to discuss is prostudin, which is also called as garcoprost. It is a synthetic analogous of prostaglandin F2 alpha, which enhances the uterine contractility and causes vasoconstriction. It potentiates the uterotonic action of oxytocin. The amnion synthesizes prostaglandin E2 and decidua synthesizes prostaglandin F2 alpha. During pregnancy, the transport of prostaglandin from the amnion to maternal tissue is limited by expression of inactivating enzyme prostaglandin dehydrogenase in the chorion. Late in the pregnancy, synthesis is increased by the increased phospholipase A2 and prostaglandin H synthesis type activity. During labor, prostaglandin dehydrogenase level declines and amnion-derived prostaglandins can initiate membrane rupture or uterine contractions. So the main these prostaglandins which are derived from the cell membranes from the arachidonic acid, which converted into the prostaglandin H2 in the presence of prostaglandin H2 synthetase type 1 and type 2. And in the presence of prostaglandin isomerase, this prostaglandin H2 is converted into different varieties of prostaglandins. Maximum non-active prostaglandin metabolites are excreted through the liver and lungs. The uses of prostaglandins, they are used in atonic PPH. The injection dose is 250 microgram, which should be given intramuscularly, remember. So we never ever give these endoprost injections intravenously. Maximum doses of endoprost which can be used or prostudin which can be used for PPH is 2 milligram. That is 8 doses we can give 15 minutes interval. There are certain cases where reports are there where these prostudin injections are also used for the management of tubal ectopic pregnancy. Side effects of prostudin injection, mainly it causes bronchospasm, nausea, vomiting, fall in BP, tachycardia, chest pain, shivering, fever. Sometimes it causes abnormal uterine contraction, tachysystole, ruptured uterus are also reported, and cervical lacerations are also reported where we use this prostaglandin injection for second trimester MTP. So the contraindications for prostaglandins, they should not be used, prostudin injection, they should not be used in a patient of having hypersensitivity, patient of having uterine scar, bronchial asthma, or heart disease. So thank you for patience listening. I'm again thankful to Amok Society. You have given me an opportunity to deliver today's lecture. Thank you.